Hey everybody, so I'm going to try to make this video quick because I know I get a little bit long-winded when I talk, but this is a video of my 5 favorite smartphones of the year. So you follow my channel, you know that I get my hands on a lot of phones, and I don't mean just the big name phones like what you see here, the iPhone, Huawei, Samsung, but I also get my hands on really obscure Chinese phones like the Blackview S8 or the Vivo V7 Plus. So these are very budget phones and they're actually quite good considering the price. Like this is the Blackview S8 Plus. Like you put it side by side next to these phones, at least just from a glance, you're not going to be able to tell a difference. But obviously, these budget phones are not going to top my list of favorite smartphones because one, I have the money to, like I have disposable income to buy gadgets, and two, I'm a huge gadget nerd that ever since I was young I've always spent my money on just gadgets anyway. So I remember as a teenager, my first gadget I ever purchased was a Arcos PMA. It's like a media player. It's basically like an iPad, what an iPad is today, except it was huge. It was like this thick, and it was like $800 US, which was a lot of money for me back in 2004 when I was like in college. And after that, I started using the T-Mobile Sidekick, which was the first Android device actually. It's basically like Android before Android. So anyway, I'm getting long-winded again. Apologies. So long story short, I'm a gadget geek, so I'm always going to want the most powerful, badass gadgets and smartphones, and these are it. So I'm going to go in order from bottom lowest to highest. So I'm going to start with number 5. So number 5 is the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. I'll put the S8 Plus in here too as the same phone because they're virtually the same phone other than the stylus down at the bottom. So if you use a stylus, this is huge. If you don't use it, then it's the exact same phone as the S8 Plus. I use it for fun. I don't need it for day-to-day work, so to me it's the same phone as the S8 Plus. So anyway, what I like about the Note 8, obviously the display. Samsung displays are the best displays in the world, in my opinion. A lot of people will argue that the iPhone X's OLED it's more accurate in terms of colors, but you know what? I think real life is a little bit boring sometimes. It's like, don't we want stuff to pop? So why do I want colors to be 100% accurate? I mean, I'm not like doing professional color grading here. I just want photos and videos to come out looking a little bit more pop. So I'll give you some examples right now. Okay, so now we're looking at 2 Instagram stories. One on the iPhone X, one on the Galaxy Note 8. And you notice on the Note 8, colors just pop a little bit more. It's a little bit more vibrant. And I know that some people would prefer this because this is more realistic. But I like the Samsung OLED better. And I do this all the time because I'm a freaking nerd. I would sit on the bed, lie on the bed, and put all my phones next to each other and run Instagram and run other apps just to check out all the photo video quality and see which ones looks the best. And then I always end up back to the Samsung. That's because I really like the curved edges too. I know that some people don't like it because they think it gets in the way, but I think Samsung's really improved the curves this year. I know on the previous versions like Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge and S7 Edge, it's hard to use the phone one-handed because your palm is always touching the sides, but that's not the case anymore, at least not for me. I'm able to see I'm using the phone one-handed. I'm able to hit apps even if my palm is touching the edge because Samsung's palm rejection is really good. So this phone, Snapdragon 835, 6 gigs of RAM. That's the same setup in several phones this year, but it's not that fast on the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. It's not slow per se, but it's not fast because Samsung software is just heavy as hell. So you notice I have Nova Launcher on there right now. That's because I just can't stand Samsung software for many reasons I don't want to get into. I just prefer Nova Launcher, which looks more like stock, and I can do stuff like this. Like bring down a notification by swiping down from anywhere. So this phone, it's probably the slowest of the bunch. Again, it's not slow, but it's just not as fast as the LG V30, the iPhone X, or the Huawei Mate 10 Pro. So that's one of the bad things. Another bad thing is this fingerprint reader. It's not great located. I mean, everyone has already written and talked about this already. I've managed to train myself to reach it consistently. Like I can reach it consistently, but it took me like a week to learn to get my fingers like this, because with every other phone you're just used to your fingers always kind of back here, so I can just reach it right away, and it's kind of easy. You can reach it with your fingers slightly bent. But with the Galaxy Note 8 or the SA Plus, I have to stretch my finger all the way up. I have to keep it straight like this. If I'm like this, then it can't reach it. So I have to get it all the way straight. And then even then, it just doesn't unlock as fast as the other phones. I think it's mostly because the shape of the fingerprint reader is bad. Compared to something like the Huawei Mate 10 Pro, your finger just fits into it a lot easier. So the camera on the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 is really good, among one of the best, but I would rank it behind the Huawei Mate 10 Pro. And I actually did a lot of testing. I took a bunch of photos side by side, and I always found more details on the Huawei Mate 10 Pro. So this is the Samsung Galaxy Note 8, my 5th favorite smartphone of the year. Okay, so before I move on to number 4, I want to clarify something. So these rankings, value, meaning the price of the phone, plays a big factor. I think it matters because we're all consumers here, and these things matter, right? Like, for example, let's talk about like getting dinner. I know that if I go to a fancy Italian restaurant or something and drop like $80 a person, I can get a really nice bowl of spaghetti. But then I can go to something like an Olive Garden and get a bowl of spaghetti that's pretty good, but not like amazing, but it's like half the price. I can drop $30 and get spaghetti, drinks, dessert, and all that, including tips and tax. So a lot of times I just rather do that. I'd rather just pay $30 for a pretty good dinner than $80 for like a really good dinner. Do you get what I mean? So that's why the OnePlus 5T is actually pretty high on this list. And it's not because the 5T is better than the LG V30 or the Galaxy Note 8. It's not. But it's just, the phone's $500. The Galaxy Note 8 is $900. So these things kind of matter. I'd rather spend $500 on a OnePlus 5T than $900 on a Samsung Galaxy Note 8. Okay, so let's get back to the number 4, LG V30. So you just saw one of the reasons why I love this phone so much. LG gives you so many ways to unlock the phone. Now, I know this doesn't matter to everybody, but it matters to me because sometimes I just can't reach this fingerprint reader on the back because I'm a writer. So a lot of times I'm writing a paper on my computer, and I have my phone on a desk like this, and I need to unlock the phone to check something. With every other phone, it's kind of annoying actually. So with the Huawei Mate 10 Pro, if I want to unlock the phone, without having to lift it up and use the fingerprint reader, I have to press the power button, swipe on the screen, and then input the pin, and then just to unlock. And then because when you look at the pin, the numbers are quite small, so you have to look at the phone to put in the 4 numbers. It's not like I can just put it in blindly. So you check out that process of pressing a button, swiping on the screen, inputting the pin. That took like 2 seconds. On the iPhone 10 is even worse. So the iPhone 10, if I want to unlock it, I have to tap on the screen to turn it on, and then I have to swipe on the phone, and after that it goes into Face ID. So I have to wait till Face ID stops before I can unlock the phone. So and iPhone requires you to put 6 numbers, so that's just more steps you have to put. So the whole process takes like maybe 3 seconds, because after you turn on the screen, you have to swipe on the phone, and then you have to wait for Face ID to stop scanning before you can put in the pin. Or either that, or I can lean over the desk and put my face over it, but that I would look ridiculous, especially when I'm at a coffee shop. So for LG V30, there's this thing called a knock code. I love it. It unlocks the phone immediately in like 1 second. And what I like about this more than a pin is I can do this without looking at the phone, because I can tap anywhere on the screen and it will unlock. So that means I don't have to pay attention to the phone when I'm tapping it. Or I can unlock my voice. Check this out. In West Philadelphia. You see that? So LG V30 gives you voice unlock, tap code to unlock, also Face ID. Well, it's not Face ID, facial unlock. So see, so that unlocked in about 1.5 seconds. So you can unlock with your face, and of course you have fingerprint reader. So all that 4 different ways to unlock just gives you more options, and I just don't know why other phones don't give you that. Like the iPhone, forcing you to use your face, If you don't want to use your face, it's a hassle. You have to wait like 4 seconds to do the damn pin. So other than that, I think I like the front of the LG V30 the best out of all of this year's phones. If you put the phone side by side, see the LG V30's bezel is actually slimmer than the Huawei's bezels by a bit. And it's also slimmer than the Galaxy Note 8's bezels. I'm recording the video right now of the Note 8, so I can't put it side by side, but the Note 8 has square-ish corners, and the bezels are just a little bit larger. So the LG V30 looks really damn sleek. In fact, you put it next to the iPhone 10. I mean, I've made a video of this before. I mean, the iPhone 10 has slimmer bezels down at the bottom, but at the top, if you factor in the notch, it's about the same. So the LG V30 is definitely one of the more bezel-less phones out there this year. And this phone's also the lightest and thinnest. So it's just the easiest to hold. A lot of times when I use the iPhone 10 or the Galaxy Note 8, because these phones are quite heavy, it actually gets a bit tired because I'm like on the bed propping up the phone like this for like an hour. With the LG V30, my hand doesn't get tired because this phone is very light and very slim. I mean, look at how it looks. There's no camera bump, not like on the iPhone 10 with this pretty sick camera bump right here. It's just overall really nice design. Okay, so there are some things I don't like about the phone, obviously because it's ranked number 4. So first is this phone is actually the least powerful of all the phones I have in the top 5, because it has a Snapdragon 835 chipset but only 4 gigs of RAM. The Galaxy Note 8 has 6 gigs of RAM. The OnePlus 5T has 8 gigs of RAM, and Huawei has a Kirin 970 chip, which I think is better than the Snapdragon 835, and the iPhone 10 obviously is faster. So I noticed this the other day when I was because I play in a band, so I recorded a video. I mean, granted, it's a large file. The file was like 30 minutes long, so it was like 3.65 gigs. It's a 3.65 gigs video. So I was trying to edit this video. I was trying to edit this video and upload to Drive, and the phone kept like just lagging. The LG V30 couldn't quite handle it because the file size is so big, and this is a Quad HD video. So I mean, the phone, it did manage to convert the video and upload. It just took a bit longer, and it was like very the phone got really buggy. So this is my band, by the way. So I'm playing drums in the back, so you can't really see me. So anyway, later what I did was I used a USB-C drive. I pulled the video, put the video in the Huawei Mate 10 Pro, and I did the same thing. I tried to edit the video, convert the video, and upload it, and it did it a lot faster. And when I was doing it, the Huawei Mate 10 Pro did not lag on me. I can still use the phone. I can still go on like Instagram and Facebook and stuff. Whereas on the V30, the phone was starting to get bogged down. So that's when I realized it's not that powerful. But you know, that's an extreme case. I was trying to edit a Quad HD video that's 3.5 gigs in size. Otherwise, if you're using normally, like, you're not gonna have any problems at all. You're not gonna have any performance issues. The phone's gonna jump back and forth between apps fine. You know, there's no issue at all for day-to-day use. So I'm just merely talking about when I'm doing powerful stuff with the phone. But you know, I'm a power user, so these things matter. So another thing that a lot of people have already mentioned, and I actually don't think it's a huge deal, but it's still worth mentioning. This display has a little bit of a blue tint. So you see that? Right now it's white, but as soon as you shift the display, it gets a little bit blue. Like, this doesn't really matter that much to me, and you can still... This is the same problem on the Galaxy Note 8 too, but it's worth mentioning because you on the iPhone 10 or even the OnePlus 5T, you don't see this problem. So it's worth mentioning, but it's not a big deal though. I mean, I would still definitely buy the hell out of this phone. It's still probably overall the most usable phone for me, just because I like the wide-angle lens too. The wide-angle lens is something that so right now, this is normal, and you go to wide-angle lens, you get a lot more in the shot. So actually, back to that band video. So I was only able to shoot this video because of the wide-angle lens, because I couldn't put the phone that far back at this bar. It's a really small bar. So if not for the LG V30, I wouldn't be able to record this video. If I used another phone, it would have cropped off my friend right here, Tim, the guitarist. So we'll play Lonely Boy here. Oh, finally, you can see me. That's me on the drums. Anyway, so that's number 4, the LG V30. This phone's about like $750 now, so it's cheaper than the Galaxy Note 8, cheaper than the Huawei Mate 10 Pro, cheaper than the iPhone 10. So I think it's worth a buy, even with a slight, kind of not as powerful processor. So now moving on to number 3, the iPhone 10. I really didn't want to put the iPhone 10 at number 3 just because I just don't like iOS. But you know what? I have to. Because one, this OLED panel, it's excellent. Like I mentioned earlier, some people think this is the best panel on earth, better than the Galaxy Note 8. I still think the Note 8 is better, but this is probably number 2. So you don't get the color shift that you might that you got on the LG V30. You can turn this and it still remains white. So this is still an OLED display. But somehow Apple has fixed the blue tint. You see, right now you can still see it. It's very white. Almost as white as the first Star Wars movie. And even though I'm not a big fan of iOS because some things are just hard to use, like bringing down this control center, it's impossible for me to do one hand unless I do reachability, which itself is weird. But there's still things about the software that I like. I really like that when you close apps, the animation is really pleasing. It kind of flies off in the same direction as my finger. And if I do it faster, it flies off faster. If I go slower, it goes slower. So I kind of like that. It kind of, you know, resembles me just tossing this app away. It's like, okay, I'm done now. Like, get this app out here, and I just toss it with one finger. The camera on this is also very good. It's probably one of the best. I'd still rank it behind the Huawei Mate 10 Pro though. At least for the regular main camera. For the selfie, this phone probably takes the best selfies of any phones I've had. Now, I hate selfies, but I still think it's cool that it can do portrait mode in selfie with portrait lighting. So I'm gonna give you a sample really quick. Sorry, I just woke up, so my hair is a mess. But so I can go stage lighting. So I actually think this is really cool. So you can take this, and then you see the result. It kind of simulates the effect of I just got a portrait taken inside a studio. Sometimes it looks really good. That one didn't look that good, but well, let's check on our lighting. So you can do mono, but yeah, so like this, I think it looks pretty cool. I mean, I look like a mess right now, but if you get a good looking person behind the camera, this is a really cool profile headshot. So little things like that, you know, obviously other phones can't do it now because iPhone's using this notch to do that true depth camera. I think the true depth camera, it's actually an innovation that other phones should take from. I mean, although I think emojis is kind of dumb, you gotta admit it's pretty cute though, right? It's pretty cool. Like for if you have a girlfriend or if you have like a mom. I send it to my mom all the time and she likes it. But you know, I'm not gonna send it to other dudes. And this true depth camera also allows Face ID, which works fine, and it's actually pretty amazing. I like it a lot of times when I'm on a website that needs me to log in, and Face ID would just scan my face and automatically logs me in. So I just wish Apple gave you another option to unlock the phone in addition to Face ID. You know, like either a fingerprint reader on the back or like some type of voice unlock or something. You know, I know it's not as secure, but you know, some people don't need all that security. Like, I'm okay with just unlocking the phone with a phrase. Like, what are the odds of someone having my exact voice and knowing my secret phrase anyway, you know? So it's not like anyone can unlock my LG V30 from afar. So another thing I really like about iPhone 10, it's not necessarily an iPhone 10 thing, but it's Apple, it's iOS. iOS made a big push to AR, and I think AR is more important than VR actually. So with AR, I'm able to use this app Topology to capture a scan of my face using this true depth camera, and right here now I can try on glasses, and it's pretty awesome, right? I mean, look at this, it looks pretty real. You can try on different frames, you can change the color, and actually it looks real. I can have a look at how glasses will look on my face. So part of the reason I don't like it, it's really hard to use with one hand. I think this one hand mode is kind of dumb. Reachability, they should just give you the Android version that shrinks it down. And you know, I just don't like that all the apps have to sit on the home screen. And So a lot of things is just my personal complaints about iOS, and the notch, even though it's awesome for AR and video and taking selfies and stuff, it's annoying when you're watching videos and then it blocks off half the, when you video and you go full screen, it bites off a chunk of the screen, so that sucks. So I wish I had just filled out the notch. And also this phone's a little bit pricey, so that's why it's number 3. So now moving on to number 2, my second favorite phone of the year, the OnePlus 5T. So as mentioned earlier, this phone, it's definitely not better than the iPhone 10 or the Galaxy Note 8, but it's number 2 because it's half the price. It's $500. I mean, $500, it's a lot of money. And that's what you're saving when you buy the OnePlus 5T instead of the iPhone 10. And you also get Face Unlock on this, and it's ridiculously fast. So, but as I mentioned in my 5T hands-on earlier, the Face Unlock is probably not super secure. It's definitely not secure as the iPhone's Face ID because it doesn't scan a 3D map of your face. But you know what? I've been using this phone for like weeks, and I've been unable to trick it. And it's so fast, it's kind of scary. So check this out. I'm going to put my face in front of the phone right now. I'm going to double tap to wake up the screen. And it goes straight in. It's so fast that you almost can't even see the lock screen. You see that? Like, it's insane. All I have to do is just, I'll try it one more time. So right now, I'm going to tilt it toward my face. It's immediate. So this is very useful. I find that I very rarely use the fingerprint reader anymore because the Face Unlock is so fast. So now again, it's probably not the most secure, but I don't have a lot of things to hide, so I'm okay. Like, what are the odds someone that has similar face shape as me, it's going to steal my phone and then unlock all my information, you know? Not that high. So why do I like this phone? Again, mostly the price. $500, you get 8 gigs of RAM with Snapdragon 835. And I ran a benchmark. The benchmark actually beat Huawei Mate 10 Pro's benchmark, which is pretty amazing considering the Huawei Mate 10 Pro is probably the most powerful Android phone that I've used. Like, benchmarks don't mean anything. I'm pretty sure if I really push both phones, the Huawei will still win. But if you just look at benchmarks, the OnePlus 5T beats the Huawei Mate 10 Pro in benchmarks. At least on Geekbench. So that's pretty amazing. And then this OLED panel looks great. Like, for $500, this is really damn good. It can't beat the Galaxy Note 8 or the iPhone 10, but it's really good. It's better than the OLED on the LG V30, unfortunately. And the LG V30 actually costs more. Sorry, I just reset the phone earlier to do this video. So you see there isn't much of a blue tint. You see a little bit. Let's go to a plain white background. Let's go to Facebook or some shit. No, New York Times. Actually, Google's good enough. So right now it's white. You shift it, little bit blue, but not as bad as the LG V30. Not that bad. You have to go a little bit more. So overall, pretty good. The display, amazing. The camera is okay. So where this phone falls short, it's the camera. Like in daytime, it's fine, but when you're taking photos at night, it noticeably doesn't look as good as the Huawei Mate 10 Pro or the Galaxy Note 8 or the iPhone 10 or the LG V30. But if you're okay with the slightly inferior camera, Oxygen OS is my favorite software because it's clean. It's mostly stock Android. Everything looks great. And you can do stuff like double tap to turn on the screen, which I love. Double tap to turn on the screen, and you can draw like an alphabet to launch your camera. And you can also do things like assign buttons, shortcuts. So you can long press on the back button to launch like Facebook or something, or long press on the back button to go into split screen mode. Whatever you want to do, this phone can do. The bezels are, even though they're slim bezels, they're still a little bit larger compared, like, say, to the LG V30. Like, you put them side by side, you definitely see the difference, right? Like, the LG V30 is just a slightly more sleek and premium built. But otherwise, $500, you can't have much complaint. So this is a OnePlus 5T. Pound for pound, the best phone on the market. Like, if money is an issue, this is the phone that you get, because it's not worth it to spend $750 on an LG, $900 on a Samsung, or $900 on a Huawei, or $1,000 on an iPhone when you can get this for $500. This phone is like 96% as good as all the other phones on this list. So now on to my favorite phone of the year, the Huawei Mate 10 Pro. So this is my favorite phone of the year for several reasons. Some of it is superficial. One, I just like the look of this phone the best from the back. I think this is a lot better looking than the Galaxy Note 8, which I can't show you because I'm recording this video with the Note 8, but it has like a square-ish block on the back that looks a bit weird. The LG V30, it's not a bad looking phone, but I just think the Huawei looks a little bit more classy, a little bit better. I like how the curves of this phone and then the light reflects off of it. It's really sweet. And this visor, I'm a fan of it. And you know, as mentioned, there is no camera bump or minor camera bump. Not like on the iPhone 10. The iPhone 10's camera bump is actually worse than this. It doesn't look this bad right now because I have a piece of glass on top of the phone for protection. So I put an extra layer on this phone. If I take this off, this bump sticks up pretty much. And you know, I just love how symmetrical everything is. So that's superficial. So let's go into why I like the Mate 10. I just think this is the most powerful chipset in terms of Android. I think the iPhone's A11 Bionic chip might be able to beat it. But if you're talking about just Android, this phone outperforms the LG V30 or the Samsung Galaxy Note 8. I also like the camera because you can do so many things with it. The camera, if you're talking about taking photos in the day, it might not beat the Galaxy Note 8, but if you're talking about at night, it definitely does. Nighttime photos look amazing. There's a lot of details. And also, I really just like the different camera modes that you get. So you get light painting, which is really cool. It allows you to draw those pictures, you know, like girls would take them at the beach where they would like do like a heart shape with a light. So you can do that. And you can do night shot. Night shot is really cool. It basically slows down the shutter speed so you can get in a lot more lighting. So I'll give you an example. So this is definitely this is taken using the night shot mode. So check out the shot. This is like a dark alley, but look at how much light information I got, and look how detailed it is. And you can also get this artistic effects too, because you're basically shooting a really slow shutter. So if someone walks by, it actually looks pretty cool. I'm always going around taking photos of the Mate 10 Pro because I just think it looks the best. Like, so this is a normal shot. Like under normal shooting condition, it looks great already. And you go to nighttime mode and you get a lot more details. And just the colors look so vibrant and punchy. I love it. And the Huawei software also has these little gimmicks that they might be kind of dumb to some people, but I actually find it kind of useful. So for example, I like the knuckle gesture to split screen. So like, it's not like one person is gonna look at. So you can do that and be like, oh, this is so much nicer. And you can go to email. Obviously, that's so. Shut up. So that's pretty cool. I know that you can do split screen mode in all Android, but I just like being able to do this, and then it goes into split screen mode. And then you can also grab a screenshot with the same knuckle gesture. It feels silly to knock on the phone with your knuckle, but it's pretty cool that you can just do something faster instead of having to open like a different app. So the fingerprint reader, it's super fast. Probably the fastest and most accurate fingerprint reader in the entire industry. So, but unfortunately, you can only unlock the phone with fingerprint or PIN. So there's no face unlock, there's nothing else. And there's also no wireless charging, which sucks because you have a glass back, but no wireless charging. Come on, Huawei. And also another minor complaint, it's the always on display. It only gives you the time, battery, and notification from first party Huawei apps. So if you have a missed call, you'll see that. But otherwise, no WhatsApp, no WeChat, no Instagram, no Facebook. So I much prefer the always on display on an LG V30 or a Samsung Galaxy Note 8 where you get to see your notifications. So right now I have two notifications here waiting. I can put an artwork. And you know what? The LG V30's always on display is awesome in that you can also swipe to play music, swipe and set up shortcuts like flashlight. You know, turn off Bluetooth, turn on Bluetooth, go straight to the camera, stuff like that. So by comparison, the Mate 10 Pro's always on display, it's very bare bones, but man, this phone feels so good. Like I love the metal frame around the phone. This glass back looks and feels nice, and it's not slippery. So I use this phone without a case, so you notice that it doesn't even slide off my hand really. It's sliding a little bit, but not that much. I can't do this with any other phone. If I do this with the OnePlus 5, it's coming down. So this phone is slightly pricey though. I believe the Mate 10 Pro will run about like 900 US. It's coming to the US, by the way, but I think it's worth it if you have the money to spend and you're on the market for a super powerful Android phone with one of the absolute best cameras on there. And you know, there's an NPU that I'm not even gonna mention because I don't see much difference yet, but it will get faster. It will keep the phone fast, I mean, as you use the phone longer and longer. So okay, this video is getting way too damn long. I apologize. So this is it. This is my top 5 phones of the year. Just my opinion. I know other people would differ, but yeah, just my opinion. Thanks for watching, man. I'll see you in the new year. Happy New Year's, everybody. Yo, sorry, I forgot to mention. So another reason why the Huawei Mate 10 Pro is my favorite phone is because it has the best battery life. There's a 4000 milliamp battery inside, and plus the display is only 1080p. So battery life is just a lot better than on the LG V30 and the Galaxy Note 8. I'm able to use this phone all the time for an entire day without needing to recharge the phone throughout the day. Like all I have to do is charge it to 100% when I wake up, and then this phone will last me through the entire day. The Galaxy Note 8 and the LG V30 cannot do that. Both phones, I have to top up around 8 p.m. The iPhone 10 is a little better, but it still does not last me a full day. Thanks for watching again.